With that,
Hello, welcome to the brand new Five Heart Podcast live, coming at you on a Thursday night, 9 o'clock Central, God's favorite time zone. I'm your host, Greg Mahochko. Joining me, as always, our founder, our fearless leader. When you wave, or when you see him, you wave, and if you're lucky enough, you bow down in his presence. John
what?
Damn Johnston.
Okay. Hi, Greg.
What's up, you sexy son of a gun?
It's June.
Indeed, it is.
It's the toughest
so
month of
accurate
the
you
year.
are.
It's the toughest month of the year.
Why?
Because there's no college football.
None at all.
College football is so far away. It's so far away. It's like you've been driving on a 36-hour straight trip without sleep, and then you're like, God, we're getting closer, but it's just so far away.
But it's closer than it was last month. There was no college football in May.
Okay, that's neat. That's neat. There was baseball in May.
Okay.
To distract me.
You said
Now there's just a void.
You said there's no college football. You didn't say there's no college sports.
Well, you could pay attention to the College World Series, I guess, but
I'm gonna have to somehow sneak into your system and make sure that next week it says John Damn Johnston instead of just John Johnston.
Oh, okay.
John, we're glad you're here with us. We're glad you're upright and above ground. Gave us quite a start last week.
Why?
Because you took the week off and you're not supposed to do that.
Well, as the season approaches, I told Andy Monday night that we need more people to rotate into this and around that know what they're doing.
The good people of the Five Heart Podcast fan club, the Chatterfields, the listeners, the viewers, they demand John Johnston.
Did they?
You should have seen the comments. Did you watch last week's show?
No.
Did you not see the comments? Every other comment was, "Where's John? I hope he's okay."
No, it was not.
Is
Was
he
it
be
really?
back next week? It was very John heavy.
That's kind of terrifying.
Josh Hansen says, "If John's not here, we riot." No, you don't listen to the second half of that comment. Just the first half. If John's not here, we riot.
Well, I'm for riots.
And John Schmidt says, "We do."
Okay, I'm here.
In regards to college football, Owen Walker says it's so far away and we're all forced to look at the world.
That's it. That's exactly it. He is exactly right. I did a video a year ago about how sad it is to be in June and the sadness of not college football season. And he is exactly right. There's nothing to distract us from the shitty world that is out there that we're just like, part of, and then you're just like, can I have some football? No. Is baseball? No, there's nothing. And then you just go sit in the bathroom again and cry with a towel in your mouth.
Is this your seasonal depression era instead of like January, February?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Terrell Farley's Taint, who was the first among the commenters, shout out to the Taint Man, said ditto the riots. So yeah, you're not just John Damn Johnston. We're gonna have to maybe change that up going forward. John, gosh darn beloved individual Johnston.
You know what I did today, Dave?
Stuttered.
The English is being horrible. Okay, you know what I did today? What'd of the day. Well, I worked on Oracle database servers and firewalls and all sorts of stuff. But part of my day, I subscribed to Motion Array, where we can pick off like short video clips of things to stick in videos. And I literally went through a whole bunch of video clips to try to make a depression about lack of football video. And here's the names of some of these.
Uh-oh.
Pensive Man on Train. Sad Man. sad man with beer, lazy man eating cake, lonely woman drinking from bottle, tired man eating breakfast alone, man lying in bathtub.
I just hope that in the bathtub, the waters is clear or at least soapy and not, sometimes what depressed people do in bathtubs, John. We don't want that. That's a little too far.
Preety says he's still in the office.
Okay, hey, that's fine. He'll join us when he can join us. He's working. He's in the North Country, not Canada, but San Francisco, which is north for him. I think it's only a 17-hour drive from his house to San Francisco. So, by the way,
Yes?
show off your shirt that you're rocking there. No, I was completely...
you know what? You know what? Here's the thing. This is the red man-killing mastodons, and I think there is too much red here.
So the one you're going to send me is going to be black?
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to change some of the colors up. So I'm going to remove the red because this is just too much red, isn't it?
Well, it's a red shirt. It looked better on the black shirt.
I mean, I think that it would be better with like a black helmet and maybe something, or not this red around the ear type things.
Again, the original mock-up.
I like red shirts.
Well, that's fine. But the original mock-up was on a black T-shirt, and it looked great. By the way, we're complaining about this one, but you can get your merch, get your shirt at hobbycorn.com. And as you see the ticker there on the bottom, use the code MondayNight623 and get 15% off of your order. And that's not just the man-killing mastodons, but if you need one of those sweet Cobby sweatsuit outfits, or a hoodie, or a bandana, or a mankini, that John has graciously offered to not model for us. We appreciate that. But
should I get the black one out?
John,
what?
Rephrase that question, please.
The black shirt.
Okay, yes. John, geez. By the way, if you're wondering what the mankini looks like, it's Cobby, the corn cob, strategically placed. That's about all we can tell you about that.
What? Keep going. You can't see me.
No, we can't see you. But living in Omaha, David Matney says, we will riot in the Corn Nation merch. Owen says, where is... Oh, here we go. Talking about your seasonal depression images that you're looking for. Owen Walker says, where is, quote, man getting hit in groin with football? That's been the last 20 years of Nebraska fans. Owen, thank you for bringing that up. Fred says, if John's shirt is rocking, don't come a knocking. Josh is being critical, saying the red behind the ears should be different color. The rest works, in my honest opinion.
Okay. See, there's this one.
Okay. I don't know. John, I'm going to let you read this comment. I don't want to.
What? Black mastodons are way more dangerous than red ones. It's probably true.
We have, yep. John was stripping. We got that out of the way. And Fred says, yikes, John's getting the black one out. This is even rougher than my comments. Josh wanted to know, is this an OnlyFans?
No, because we're not charging for this. Isn't that how OnlyFans work?
I don't know, John. I've never, ever been on that particular service. Which is not a lie. I know it sounds like a lie, but it's not a lie.
Oh, okay.
All right. Hey, we have an actual football-related question, John. Would you like to...
What is it?
Well, you started, so I know you've seen it. Brando Sports World. Welcome back, Brando Sports World, or BSW, because we're lazy. I heard D'Angelo Evans was a great running back in the day, had the potential to be one of the greats. What happened to him, John?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I think he transferred away from Nebraska. Okay. Chat GPT says, I'm sorry, but I couldn't find any notable information or references regarding a person named D'Angelo Evans, which I think I want to say he transferred to a lower end college and then he honestly got in trouble with the law. But I am not sure. We'll look it up real quick.
So he's still on Huskers.com for the 1999 roster. Wichita native, rushed for 8,473 yards as a prepster, which beat Barry Sanders' mark. Hampered by a groin injury, posted the third best Husker mark as a freshman with 776 yards and 14 touchdowns in 1996. Sidelined by groin injury, he took a medical hardship and watched from the sidelines in 97. In 98, suffered a tailbone injury and turf toe that limited him to 218 yards in 3 games, had arthroscopic knee surgery after the 98 season and missed most of spring ball. With 994 career rushing yards, Evans just 6 yards shy, becoming the 48th back in school history to amass more than 1,000 yards in his career. Saw limited action in the Holiday Bowl in 98. But, yeah, just looked like caught that injury bug. It's amazing how like there's no reason for the Huskers.com to keep all this archived information, outside of, they were on the team, these were their stats, but, it's like, if you wanted to know D'Angelo Evans' birthday, December 13th, 1976. He was Big 12 Commissioner Fall Semester Academic Honor Roll in 96. And, good head on his shoulders, 3.0 cumulative GPA. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know where he went after Nebraska.
Well, I looked up D'Angelo Evans, and it said he was sentenced to 40 years in jail. I don't think that's our D'Angelo Evans. And then another D'Angelo Evans played in the NHL, and he's gone.
Probably not the same D'Angelo. You said no. NHL, right? Not NFL.
NHL, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna kill the ticker. So hopefully everybody's memorized copycorn.com. Monday night 623. John says that you have until June 23rd to take advantage of that offer. 15% off. Not part of your order, your whole order. And that's impressive.
Okay. What's next?
I'm so glad you asked. John, there's a bit of exciting news.
Exciting news
In Lincoln this week, John.
Are they getting a Cracker Barrel?
They're getting a cracker.
Did the ones that are leaving the Cracker Barrel that's leaving Portland, they're moving it to Lincoln?
No, I don't know what you're talking about with Cracker Barrels.
Okay.
But Jordy Ball is coming home.
Jordy Ball.
That's what I said, Jordy Ball.
Jordy Ball
is coming home. A MVP of the Women's College World Series that, by the way, wrapped up, I think, less than a week ago as we're recording this. And she has 2 years of eligibility remaining. And you talk about a shocker. I think that could be a seismic shift in Big Ten softball.
Well, Andy's the softball guy. On Monday night, he talked at length about how important it is. And I've tried to stay off Twitter as much because it's not good for your mental health. But I mean, everybody looks at this and says, this is probably one of the biggest athletes transfers in the history of mankind, at least involving Nebraska. And certainly a person that you look at and you say, this could make a difference in a sport. Listen, I don't think there's too many of us that have actually gone to softball games, attended softball games, but I think people try to follow at least what's happening with most Husker sports if they're good and if they get into the NCAA tournament and stuff like that. If they're having a good season, I would hope that people end up going to more softball games, kind of like a Caitlin Clark Clark influence that Nebraska softball would have, because they're really entertaining games and they're fun. And the difference between that and baseball is, how far away is a pitcher to the mound? What is that? 110 feet?
In
90
baseball?
Feet? Yeah.
Let's see. It's 90 feet down to first base. So
Okay.
I think maybe like 65. I think it's 40 to 45 feet in softball.
It's short. And when you have a girl that can throw, I don't know, what do they throw? 65, 70 miles an hour? That's
we'll
a really short time to try to swing a bat and get a hit. But it's an exciting game. And I think the two things about Jordy Ball coming to Nebraska. Number one, hopefully she brings the softball team up to another level. I guess three things. Number two, I hope that she influences other athletes to come to Nebraska in whatever sport they want to come to, not just softball. And number three, I forgot because I'm old. No, number three, I'm just going to be, this isn't negative, but it's just a warning. All of the accolades and all of the stuff that we're going to put on this person before she's even done anything at Nebraska is just, kind of cautious about how much pressure you apply to a person.
Sure. However, at the same time, I'll say this. Her leaving when she did, national champion team, MVP, that is the equivalent, all right, I'm going to do my best to draw the parallel here. Just hang with me. Her leaving national champion Oklahoma, being the Women's College World Series MVP, and coming to Nebraska is equivalent, in my opinion, to Bryce Young winning the Heisman and transferring to Nebraska. I mean, that's the impact of getting the best player on the best team coming to your school.
Oh, look at it! Look at this Terrell Farley tank guy. Junior high boys can consistently go yard with ease against the world's greatest softball pitchers. They're not playing boys. That's a mixed metaphor thing. What the hell is wrong with you?
I'll see your comment and raise you from Fred Sacco. If you offer me a knife fight versus going to a softball game, I take my chances with the knife fight.
Okay, Fred, you know what? If somebody said you can go to the softball game or watch Fred get into a knife fight, I'm probably going to go watch you get into a knife fight just to say, hey, you want to see a guy get into a knife fight live? Okay.
Can we put that on the Coronation YouTube live? We'll stream it.
I think to respond to Terrell Farley's taint, you go to these games because they're entertaining, not because of some. I know a lot of you will probably say, I go to see athletes and, it's an ego thing, I think. I go to see the best athletes and stuff like that. I guess I go to mostly sporting events just to be entertained. That's what I go for. And to taunt other people.
I believe every bit of that last part too, John.
Yeah, like if I'm in a mall somewhere and I see a guy wearing an Iowa shirt, I usually walk up to him. I don't care how big they are, and I go, "Did somebody force you to wear that, or did you put it on yourself?"
I'll never forget. It was Saturday, November 22nd, 2014, and I was in Chicago, and I was at Shed's Aquarium, and I believe we were playing Minnesota. Might have been Wisconsin. All I know is that I was DVRing the game. I was in Chicago with my wife for her birthday. And I saw somebody I was wearing a Husker hoodie, obviously. And somebody was wearing a Nebraska shirt. And I said, "Go Big Red." They said, "Go Big Red." And off we went. Because we're nice to each other.
Right. Is that what it is? We're nice to each other?
Not online, but in person, I think so. Yeah, so putting Fred's knife fight on YouTube live, Fred says, "Please do, and do commentary, John. He'd pay for that, and he's in the fight." BSW Brando's Sports World says, "Can you get a GoPro on and go to the Colorado game, John? I want to hear you talk all kinds to the Buffalo fans."
I'm not going to go to the Colorado game, but I am going to plan on going to the Minnesota game. So maybe that is something to do. Is that what they do when they wear? I'm going to find that out. Write that down. Okay, I'm putting it in my tick.
Put it in your notes. You're what? You're not. You can't say that.
I can. Tick is a productivity application.
This one's for you, Fred.
Okay. Wear a GoPro to the Minnesota game.
Just for all the shit you can talk.
And taunt them fucking Gopher fans.
And you know what, folks? He will type it into his note machine just like that. I want to back up to D'Angelo Evans real quick because TFT, Terrell Farley's Taint, did say got in a pissing match with Frank, quit and went to Emporia State, then blew out his MCL and ACL.
Emporia State. There you go.
I also saw something in the comments about how he put on a lot of weight after some of those injuries. So
I think it's hard for these guys to, when they get injured and try to come back from that stuff. It's just impossible. Okay.
Are you ready, John?
I'm ready.
Can we talk about how it's not just etched in stone at Memorial Stadium, but how Nebraska truly does have the greatest fans?
We could talk about that, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Buckle up, everybody. We got numbers to back it up. Came across this series of tweets, and I thought this is important to share with the good people of Coordination. John, while I'm doing this, you're in charge of comments. No pressure. Stu Manji said, what?
Go ahead.
Says 368 different schools compete in some combination of D1 men's baseball, basketball, and football, or women's basketball, softball, and volleyball. Since 2013, Nebraska ranks number 1 in average attendance for men and women across those 6 sports. A thread. This is slide number 1 of 3. Slide 2, if we could be so kind, Mr. Producer. Oh, wait, that's me.
Yeah.
Nebraska men rank 8th in baseball, 11th in basketball, and 11th of football, which is an average rank of 10, which is first out of 368 schools. And Nebraska women, or as fans going to women's sports, are first in volleyball, no surprise there, 15th in women's basketball, 27th in softball, which is an aggregate score of 14.3, which is, again, first out of the 368 schools. So the conclusion is that Nebraska is the best. But Nebraska is the only school to rank in the top 15 for 5 of the 6 sports, and only 2 schools appear in the top 15 4 times, which are Florida and Tennessee, and 8 schools appear in the top 15 3 times, which is Alabama, Arkansas, Clemson, LSU, Michigan State, South Carolina, Texas, Texas A&M. So stick that in your tailpipe, Ohio State, you good for nothing sons of bitches.
There's a few things about this.
Oh, okay. I'm very interested.
Number one, probably the response from a lot of other people who would be fans of other teams would be, well, you ain't got no pro sports. No wonder you go to all these college events. To which my response is, what do you need pro sport? You get to pay for billions of dollars of stadiums, and then you have to pay with that shit for taxes. And then the Minnesota Vikings disappoint you every fucking year of your life, every year of their existence.
Well,
every year.
Can I piggyback on that? I haven't done the math. Like I haven't. I was gonna say MapQuest, but that would date me. But I haven't, plugged it into my. I have no idea how far Tuscaloosa is from Atlanta, but there's nothing to do in Tuscaloosa. Like they ain't got no pro sports. Starksville. There are a lot of schools out there that don't have professional, team. Now, it's what 4.5, 5 hours from Lincoln to Kansas City? Is that pretty
I think so, yeah.
fair? What is it, 7 or 8 hours to Chicago? And it's probably shorter to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I mean, get off our nuts about that stuff. That's a horseshit excuse to say that that there's no pro sports around. Don't care. The other thing
why do the Minnesota Timberwolves even exist? I mean, they are literally just a terrible, terrible, terrible franchise, poorly managed. They suck. They're terrible. There's no prospect to them. It seems like of them ever getting better. So when people bring the pro sports thing up, I just kind of go, what? Who gives a shit? It's really expensive to attend those things. They're not. The other thing about it is when people say, they point out that, well, why is Nebraska in the Big Ten? We should throw them out of the Big Ten. Well, you shouldn't, because I can tell you that when, you show a college sports event that involves Nebraska, you're going to get viewership on Big Ten Network, and that sells advertising dollars.
Yep.
So if you threw us out, I mean, we'd just go somewhere else where somebody would pay us a lot of money to be. You dumb shit asses. There you go.
Big Sky Conference.
And I like the fact that Nebraskans like their college sports. I think college sports is a hell of a lot of fun.
I agree.
I mean, otherwise I probably wouldn't be doing this.
And we're all glad that we're all here because of you, John. If you think about it, we're all your children. Because we're all here because of you. You sowed the seed. That seed grew into coronation, and because of you, we're all here. Fred says that he used to drink the best fans Kool-Aid and says, quote, "We used to be the most educated IMO per old games where commentators would cite our football IQ, but overall, I think we're just decent, and that's it." No, you're wrong, Fred. Sorry.
Yeah, I think if you actually go to games and you talk to people about like penalties or what's going on during the game, I think Nebraska fans we're up there in terms of football knowledge.
I don't disagree.
We might be insane.
Yeah.
And the insane people always make the best, like, serial killers and things like that.
And let me tell you, I'd much rather drink the Kool-Aid than have what happened in my house a couple Saturdays back, where I made a gallon of Kool-Aid and one of the twins grabbed the gallon of Kool-Aid and thinking he was going to get a drink, dumped the whole thing on himself, and he looked like Carrie. And I had a gallon of fruit punch Kool-Aid, or Crystal Light, which apparently has less sugar, that I had to clean up. Well, me and my wife. It wasn't just me. By the way, TFT says Tuscaloosa Hotland is 3 hours or 207 miles. Lincoln to Kansas City is 197 miles.
Oh, that's not very far then.
No. Fred says he doesn't want to think about you sowing seed, John. Well, we're all here because John sowed that seed.
Yeah.
And Fred also says that, John, you need to make a fighting dumb shit ass t-shirt. Oh, I'm getting hell from Josh because Crystal Light isn't made in Nebraska, and he called me a jackass. It's not my choice. I don't do the grocery shopping. Last time I went grocery shopping, it was over $300, and I got banned from the grocery store. Josh also says that he followed me here, so in a sense, John, you're his grand seed.
Oh my God. You see what happens in June? See what happens when there are no sports? This is the kind of shit that happens when there's no sports on.
I'm sorry. TFT, by the way, this is great. I love the comments. TFC says, Fred, have you ever been to an IO game? 90% of those folks can't even breathe through their nose. Yeah, Owen, we all came from John Seed. Well, metaphorically speaking. And Fred did follow up TFT's question by saying, I wouldn't go to a game in Iowa City. Sweet piece of meat like me wouldn't survive 1 quarter.
Oh my God.
before the Mongoloids violated me. TFT said he followed Tweety here, so does that make me the bastard? John, I'm gonna let you answer that one.
He's supposed to be here, so you're not illegitimate or anything. He should be here. You get a hold of him and you tell him what's for.
Terrell Farley Stain, if that's the type of emotional relief that you were hoping for tonight, you're not illegitimate, but it's your responsibility to track him down and get him here. All right, so we had to back up a little bit. Fred did ask the question. By the way, I'm working with an artist friend of mine. We're actually going to have a graphic for this segment starting hopefully next week, and it's called "What's Greg Drinking Today?" Because that's what Fred wants to know. Greg, what are you drinking? I'm having an Aventinus. Let me tell you, I am drinking the product of America's oldest, not occupation, not silversmithing. Oh, America's oldest brewery. John, check out that beautiful golden can.
It's a Yuengling.
It's a Yuengling.
Yuengling.
They don't. So I was down in Kentucky last weekend, Louisville area, and going to see a buddy of mine. And I'm actually in a liquor store. I said, "What's your poison?" He's like, "What, like alcohol?" I said, "Yeah, I like alcohol." He's like, "I have everything." He said, "I've got vodka, I've got rum, I've got tequila, I've got bourbon, I've got an abundance of beers." He's like, "I got Fireball." I said, "Okay, I'm going to get some stuff for me." And I ended up bringing home a case of Yuengling. They don't sell it in Illinois, but conveniently they skipped Illinois and went straight to Missouri. So if I want, I'll have to go into Missouri to try to find some. But when I go down and visit my buddy, I'm just going to start bringing cases back. So cilantro to you all.
Okay.
I toast you, John, and everyone here.
In June, for God's sakes.
What?
It's June. It's dead. It's like the deadest time of the year for anything, unless somebody's getting arrested.
Terrell Farley Stain says America's oldest occupation is prostitution. Not true. That's the world's oldest occupation. America's oldest occupation is, in fact, silversmithing. I've done the research on this. Don't ask me why or how. Also, if you believe that,
oh, I'm gonna believe it just because I don't know how to argue it.
I appreciate that, John. John, what else do we want to say about the greatest fans in college sports? Most loyal, most dedicated. By God, the five hardiest of all.
Well, I think Nebraska fans are completely batshit insane. One of the reasons why I've stayed off Twitter is because, it seems like we can't go 3 or 4 days over there without massive amounts of drama over not many things. So there are guys over there, and if that's what they want to do, that's fine. I can't do Twitter as much because I just get sucked into things and then I get nothing done. And I do have a really big list on TikTok. So there you go. I need to get those things done.
Every time you say tick, I really expect you to mean TikTok. So I'm very confused. But
it's a productivity app.
I know it sure sounds like it. I gotta say, I don't get on Twitter. For those of you who want to engage via social media, the only time the official number 5 Heart Podcast Twitter profile or account is active really is during a Nebraska football game. If I'm watching another Nebraska athletic competition, I'll pop in periodically, but usually it's mostly reaction to something going on in the football game. But I do get notifications from other Nebraska-related things, and so it was actually a tweet from Husk Guys, all one word, that led me to the information from Stu Manji about Nebraska's being number 1 in attendance for men's and women's sports. So
Husk Guys is one of the pipeline jerky guys.
It is?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You mean this delicious pipeline jerky? This honey barbecue pork jerky?
One sign that actual football season is not too far away. Come on, I had this. Is that we Well, number one, they're releasing volleyball schedules, but also we got notification that you can apply to get the credential for Big Ten Media Days.
Ooh, are we going to go?
Not that I'm not going. I'm a busy guy. I have all this list and tick to fill out.
Wait, John, is that an actual work list or is that like your side hustle list?
No, it's my entire life is contained in a list.
Can I ask a personal question?
You can ask anything.
Doesn't mean you'll answer, right?
Right.
What's at the very top of your tick?
Oh, see, it's sectioned off.
Okay.
Well, right now, the very top of it says, wear a GoPro to the Minnesota game and taunt them fucking Gopher fans. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one. Okay, just since you asked, I was thinking about stupid videos I could do. And if you remember July 14th, 2021, I did a video about my reaction to Trev Alberts being hired. And I was not pleased with Trev Alberts being hired. And I thought,
remember.
That was such a stupid reaction. I should actually do a reaction video to my reaction of how bad a take I had about Trev Alberts, because we're coming up on 2 years of Trev Alberts. And I quite frankly don't think that we could have hired a better athletic director. If you want a subject to talk about, I think that Trev Alberts has been the cat's meow, the shit, I don't know, what phrases do you use? It's the greatest thing since sliced bread, the best invention since the wheel.
I don't know if we go that far.
Well, he's been really good.
Agree.
I think he's done a very, very good job.
And when you do your short video, and I'm not opposed to discussing it right now or next week or whenever, you've got to call it, whatever the other headline was or title of it was, -revisited. So they know.
Oh, is that -revisited?
And then what you have to do is you have to introduce the video. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, but I watch enough. You have to introduce the video, play the old video, and then come back and react to your reaction.
I think we'll call it something like reaction to homeless man's reaction to hiring Trev Alberts revisited.
I like Fred's comment here. John's reaction to his reaction. It's Inception level shit only Bob Diaco would understand with his adult mind.
I'm going to hold the mic in my hand. It'll be really small. Maybe I'll hold it like this.
Why is it so small in your hand, John? Do you have massively large hands?
No, I was talking about Bob Diaco with that tiny little mic.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just yeah.
Because I hold mine, and mine's, I don't know. I thought mine's, I guess, girthier.
What?
Well, you said you were holding your microphone. It was very small.
This is June. This is the way it goes. Wait a minute. Some guy actually had a football thing. Oh, it's the Terrell Farley guy. What do you guys think in the comment section? Since you're here, I mean, what do you guys think of Trev Alberts? I think he's done a damn good job in the past 2 years. I mean, he got in. He had to fire Scott Frost, and that's what he did. I think that he did I think he made the right choice in keeping Fred Hoiberg around, just because I don't know if anybody else better than Fred Hoiberg is ever going to coach basketball. The other thing we have not talked about is Will Bolt. Living in Omaha, David Matney says, I agree, great hire.
Like you asked the comments what they thought of it, and I literally highlighted a Chatterfield reaction, and you just blew right past it.
I was going to come back to it. I'm not that addled.
Okay, what you said.
Kush King says, what?
Did you click that or did I?
I clicked that.
Okay. Josh says, I was so skeptical when he was hired, but I think he's killing it. And John Schmidt says, I'll let you know how I feel about Trev after 3 years of rule.
That's fair. But I think he came into an athletic department that honestly was in disarray. When you look at all of it, Bill Moose was kind of absentee, and and there was a lot of stuff to clean up. And I think that he's done a decent job of cleaning that up. You know,
it's safe to say that Bill Moose and Scott Frost were kind of tied, like their fates were a little tied, right? We definitely know that Sean Nyhorst, his fate was tied with Mike Riley. Is there that type of, I don't want to say bond, but is there that type of, like if
are we going to tie him? Yeah, if we're going to tie him to Matt Rule,
yeah, or does it depend on how everything else is going?
I think it does. I realize that football is the king, but we just had 2 women become national champions in track and field for the first time since what, 2006 or 2003?
Definitely.
So,
one of those 2 years, maybe another one. Who knows?
I realize that's not a big feather in everybody's hat, track and field, but that is a hit. Listen, if you're gonna say that you're gonna be excellent in like everything possible, then it doesn't mean let's one team go to shit just because you don't care. We see that in other athletic departments all over the place, especially baseball and the Big Ten. So I think you need to have an athletic department that all kind of is moving in one motion in the same direction. And that is toward excellence, sons of bitches. Slacking.
I appreciate TFT's comment here about Trev Albert. There's nothing I love more than an AD that pisses off the Omaha folks.
Well,
not wrong.
Wait, there was the okay.
Fred says Trev will outlast Rule if Rule doesn't work out. He knows how to play the game.
That's probably a good point.
But Vince here with the opposite says if Rule fails, Trev will be out the door before him. Interesting.
I guess we hope we never find out.
Right. We want them all to be successful. Fred says, okay, honest reaction on Trev. I do not like him as a human. The way he fired Coach Denny at UNO was chicken shit because he was threatened by UNO's Osborne. At NU, he's doing okay.
I don't have a reaction to that. Todd would be the one that reacts to that.
Yep.
It did sound pretty terrible. And any of the wrestling people would probably have that reaction.
Sure.
Josh Hansen has a comment.
Okay.
Josh.
Am I supposed to highlight it? is it okay? I was making sure that
was Josh Hansen says stopping the most of the insane leaks and other bullshit alone was impressive. I have to agree with that. I will say that reaction video about Trev Alberts, I realized later a lot of my anger was misplaced. And at that time at the athletic department, I think I said many times that this athletic department was so fucked up they couldn't do anything for an announcement because people would leak it to the press faster than they could do anything. And that's something that had to stop. You can't run an organization like that. So I do think that they've cleaned up people that are looking out for themselves and doing a lot of me stuff. And you can't have an organization that functions well when you're doing that kind of crap.
For his own anonymity, I'm not going to say where he's living in, but David Matney says, who had or has the larger mess to clean up, Matt Rule or Scott Frost?
Matt Rule.
I really do think the jury's out on that because when Frost came, now hear me out. When Frost came, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe what we were told from the beginning when Scott Frost came in that first off season was all a bunch of hokum. But we came out, 2018 season, and all we thought was like, man, we really had no idea how depleted the cupboards were. Maybe they weren't that depleted. He just didn't know how to get, the most out of his people. Like, we don't know. I think you're right. To an extent, I think you're right. Matt Rule is in much more of a grander, I just had the word on the tip of my tongue, damage control type of mode. but like we weren't doing anything under Mike Riley except for like Mike Riley's second year being the inverse of his first year, where Mike Riley's first year, none of the bounces went our way. His second year, all the bounces went our way, and we went to a bowl game. And his third year, we remember what happened. Lost to Northern Illinois. Sean Eichhorst out. Eventually, Mike Riley out as well, or maybe the opposite of that. Flip that order. I can't remember. So I don't know. To an extent, yeah. I mean, it's not. Prior to Matt Rule's hiring, it was not a pretty sight in Lincoln.
No.
And I'll say this again, in that, to use that vernacular that's been thrown around a lot the last few months, Matt Rule seems to be winning the offseason.
Right.
But the offseason is not what counts. So let's see what happens in the fall.
Mike Riley didn't go around and embarrass the program every fucking where he went.
That's true.
Okay. When you have a guy who gets up at Big Ten media days, he has a chew in, he can't shave, he can't wear a tie properly and be paid $5 million a year. That's embarrassing to your university because it's not professional. And then when you get a guy that's allegedly too drunk to meet with the best recruit in the nation, and that gets out and people talk about it all over the place, doesn't get published because nobody's got the guts to publish that shit. But it gets out, that's embarrassing to your program. That's the kind of shit that destroys relationships with people over the long run. So Matt Rule, Scott Frost, I don't think had to come in and try to repair relationships that Mike Riley broke. Matt Rule has to come in and repair God knows how many relationships that were broken during that fuckhead's reign. So I think Matt Rule has a much tougher job. I think he's done a really good job so far. Now he has to win games, obviously, and that's really what it comes down to. And if he doesn't, we will look back on some of the stuff he's done as stupid. But, Riley never embarrassed us. He never just flat out embarrassed us. I mean, you're up by 11 fucking points. And you call an onside kick against Northwestern. The entire nation will remember that forever. Because you're an idiot.
This is a huge turnout in the comments. So I'm going to try to hit as many of them as I can, as quickly as I can. David Matney says, I would say Matt Rule, and says John, spot on. John Schmidt on YouTube, I think responding to me, says I sound wrong so far. Probably not wrong in that assessment, John. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Okay. Owen says, can all agree that game was the first implications that we didn't have any offensive linemen? Never had any ever since. Oh, the Northern Illinois game is what he was referencing there. By the way, TFT, Terrell Farley Stain says, this is the John I'm here to see. And more in these starred. I'm getting there, everybody, I promise. Fred says, we've had broken culture here for freaking years, so it's a tough gig for whoever lands here. But I believe did say, Fred did say, I think Rule has the larger mess to clean up, but not by a ton. Both had uphill climbs. TFT says Rule has a larger mess, but an easier job because expectations are lower and the transfer portal makes it easier. I want to touch on that real quick. I do think expectations are lower, except for with me, because we all know I've said 15-0. But this is not like Scott Frost coming in after just going undefeated at UCF and coming back home, and there was that Kool-Aid, that golden boy type of aura around him that I think everybody's like, 2 years, man, we're going to be back. I remember Haas and I talked about on this very show. It's like, I guess it would have been his fourth year. So the 2021 national championship game, which would have been played at the beginning of 2022. He's like, I'll see you in New Orleans or, something like that. Like we were tentatively making plans to get together and go watch Nebraska win a national championship, or at least play in the national championship game. I will say this. I think Matt Rule's job is a little easier for that same reason that Terrell Farley's Taint said. I feel like overall, like we have high hopes, but low expectations.
Do we? We're drinking the Kool-Aid. People are like 9-3, 10-2 for 2023.
All right.
I think that's a little crazy.
if you remove my not even preseason, my off-season predictions from the Coronation crowd, the Coronation contributor crowd, then our average like wins per, for next season goes from like 10 down to 7. I'm just saying. But I'm an anomaly, John. I don't know if you know that about me or not. I'm an anomaly. I'm something that's a little special. I'm a little out there.
I've noticed that of all my seeds.
I can't wait to be a silver fox like you. Let's see here. Trying to clear out some of these. Let me know if I missed any of the other comments that have come in about this. This is great, by the way. I don't know who exactly. I don't remember who asked the question, but fantastic question. Thank you. That was a great question. Whoever asked it. Fred says, "My girlfriend just yelled downstairs," which answers a couple of questions that right there in the first few words. Are you watching that white-haired Husker guy who cries on the toilet again? Yep. God, we're very blessed to have you here, Fred. TFT says 10-2 isn't crazy at all. Jose says 7 wins, and Vince says expectations may be lower for the first couple of years, but is the rope shorter before the hangman comes knocking? And I think a lot of that had to do with how that contract was structured, right? It was very much more weighted on the back end of the contract. So,
yeah,
I think that plays.
I think it'll be interesting. Because we're going to live in 2 years. We're going to live in a completely different world than we have before, where the Big Ten is going to be. And I keep repeating this. Hopefully, people will pick up on it. And I'd like some feedback on it. I think it's going to become much more NFL environment where people are going to have to look and adjust their expectations about what they think a successful season is. Like there's 12 teams going into a playoff. If you make a playoff, it should be a successful season, you'd think. But if you're fourth in the Big Ten, you make the playoff, is that a successful season? Those are the things that we're going to have to ask ourselves. You can't put it this way. 2025, you can no longer compare Matt Rule to Tom Osborne with any legitimacy. You can compare it by looking at records and saying, "Oh, Tom won 9 games in 25 years," and Tom never played the kind of schedule that we're going to start seeing in 2024 and 2025 in the Big Ten.
Just remembered I muted myself for a moment. Redwine65 says the 25 schedule could be a big mess. At Ohio State, at USC, at Michigan, UCLA, and Cincinnati. Somehow they didn't get Penn State in there. Nate and I talked a little bit about this last week, John, but of course, since you were otherwise committed, your thoughts real quick for the Chatterfields out there about what those 2024 and specifically 2025 schedules look like?
Well, they look like what I just said. I mean, this is going to be it's going to be a tough conference. It's again, we're going to have is 8-4 going to be a good season in this new conference? And is 8-8 a good season in the NFL? Well, it might be if you're like the Detroit Lions, you make the playoffs, right? If you go 8-4 and you make the playoffs in college football, isn't that an adjustment of the new world we're going to be living in?
Right. And I think with the addition of UCLA and USC and the number of high quality, I mean, look here at the 25 schedule. We have 4 high caliber conference road games and Cincinnati, which is not, a pushover. It really is going to start shining a spotlight, I think, on the SEC and how, they have one less conference game and they could look, money drives everything. And maybe in their next media rights deal, the CBS, I believe is who it is. CBS Sports Network will say, we want to see better matchups. And I referenced these 2 schools last week. I apologize because it's not the most recent examples, but when Alabama was tuning up for the Iron Bowl with a game against Citadel, one year and the next year Mercer or vice versa, I was like, come on. If I were CBS Sports Network or whoever was picking up that contract, I'd be pissed that, like, seriously, we've got, on the other station, we've got Wisconsin, Minnesota, or something like that, or Ohio State,
Right.
Michigan, Penn State, or Michigan State, something like that. We have some really strong competition. You're going to throw a 1AA or a FCS school in the thick of come on. It's weak. It's Bush League weak sauce. I'm not here for it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to be hard, and we're going to have to adjust our expectations. And maybe we'll be in the top 2. Who knows what the future will hold.
John, am I pulling you to the good side?
Well, you know what I mean. Ohio State fans are completely crazy about, Ryan Day losing the way he did, and he should be fired. There's some of those crusty, on the fringe people that might get louder, and then God knows what happens to Ohio State. Everything's cyclical. It's our time to rise, damn it.
John,
cycle back up. Cycle back up. Oh my God, I almost look like.
Yeah, you did.
The cycle needs to go back up.
Let me hear you say it.
What?
Just one time.
12-0?
15-0, would you?
15-0. We're going to go 15-0 in 2024.
I'm so happy right now. All right, you know what? We are almost an hour into this, and I still have one really not important, but definitely fun topic that I wanted to get to. John, you remember where you were the first game of the season, the first home game of the 1994 Nebraska football season?
No.
I mean, it's not a trick question. I'm like, were you in the stadium? Were you in Minnesota?
What was it? What are we talking about?
We're talking about the tunnel walk as it is today and has been for almost 30 years.
Oh my God. A lot of my memories are missing. What was the game? The first game in the 1994 season?
I don't know, John. I don't know.
What was the first?
Hold on, let me go. I'm on Huskers.com. Let me pull up the 1994 schedule.
Football season.
This is not how I anticipated this part to go, folks. I did not try to get bogged down in the minutia. My apologies to you all.
Oh, against North Texas, Nebraska won the game 70-21. That's what ChatGPT is telling me. What does your thing tell me?
I had a home game against West Virginia, the kickoff classic. I'm sorry, no, it wasn't. That was in East Rutherford. So the first home game, it looked like if this is the right one, 1994 was UCLA, September 17th. Does that sound pretty right?
Oh my God. This is why you got to ask me these things ahead of time. Because
anyway, regardless, that's not the opponent's not the important. I want to talk. I want to talk about "Sirius" by Alan Parsons Project.
Okay,
that was selected as the new Tunnel Walk song and has been in place for, as I said, almost 30 years. Now, look, I enjoy the song. I get a kick out of the song. I walked into my wedding reception to that song, and I even touched a horseshoe that was at the head table. So,
wow.
Look, I got to choose one thing for that day, and it was the music that we walked in the reception to. So, I get it. It's famous for being the Chicago Bulls starting lineup music for decades as well. All the Jordan run and et cetera, and well past. But as I look at other songs that have permeated into college football stadiums in the years, I think of 1998. That's when they started jumping around Camp Randall.
Right.
In the year 2000, Virginia Tech started coming out to Enter Sandman, to the point that they create little seismic activities every time they do. I've never been to Virginia Tech, but just watching them on YouTube, you can you get just a little of what it's like. And I know Nebraska's trying things. I think last year they did a Thunderstruck right after the third quarter, something like that on the night games with the lights. And can't blame me. I tried reaching out to some of our SB Nation partners from Wisconsin and Virginia Tech, asking what was some of that initial response when you tried these new, what are now traditions. And so the question is Sirius by Alan Parsons Project really the best song for Nebraska to run out onto the field to?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you. I'm asking the Chatterfields. I'm asking everybody.
Well, I think people know what to expect. And I guess, now that you talked about it for a bit, I guess I do remember the tunnel walk coming into place. And before that, we really just didn't do anything that I recall. I mean, you used to just kind of be confused. Now, at least you get the warm up, it's time to get ready. It's kind of like the lights flickering when you're at a bar concert, come back in, kind of thing, get prepared for more fun. It was, or if you're out drinking in the parking lot, you hear that, that song going off, and it's time to put your alcohol away and get your ass in your seat. So about songs, though, I don't know. This is the kind of stuff that I guess I could just go to the game. Oh my God, Josh Hansen says Fire and Rain by James Taylor.
I think he's kidding. I hope he's kidding. By the way, I asked the question, is it the best song? John Schmidt on YouTube says yes. TFT says it's 90s to its core, which, I mean, the song was released in 1982, so I'll take a little bit of issue with that one.
What about Darth Vader's theme?
The Imperial March?
Yeah, whatever.
At this point, you may have been able to get away with it 30 years ago when it was 20th Century Fox, but I don't think Disney's going to let that go without paying big bucks for it.
They don't. They defend everything with their lives.
So here we go. Yes, TFT says that the 90s Bulls did make it famous. Fred Sacco says, I love Sirius, but I think it would be great if we lost it for a while, then brought it back. Huge pop, and we'd all be in line again. Cornhusker Corner says we should run out to the Titanic music. Is that like the music that the string quartet was playing as the Titanic was going down, or are you talking about Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On"? Because if you are, that sure as hell better be "My Five Heart Will Go On."
How about Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries?
I'm okay with that. I'll even overlook the fact that he may or may not have. I'll even overlook the fact that he may or may not have been a Nazi, depending on when he lived. I don't know.
I think he was way before that.
I was making. I'm sorry, it was a bad joke. Brian Anderson checking in on Facebook says the most intimidating sound for the tunnel walk would be Mike Tyson's entrance music, where it's just chains jangling and clashing. I think what could be fun, and I'm just having fun here, Brian. But use the theme music from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. There's a very select few in the crowd who would appreciate that. So I took a little bit of initiative, dare I say, John, and I actually pulled up Billboard's Hot 100 from 1994.
Okay.
Would you believe? Now, this is where we're jumping in a time machine. And look, this time machine's big enough for you, me, and all the Chatterfields everywhere.
Okay.
Our Wayback Machine going all the way back to 1994.
Woo.
By the way, here's Shay Blutarski says Pink Floyd one of these days. Fred says wants us to. He said, I bet John wants us to run out to the vagina monologues. And again, Cornhusker Corner says, Flight of the Bumblebee or The Entertainer, which I believe is Scott Joplin. Now, going back to the Billboard. Some songs that won't work. Number 11 for the year, R. Kelly's Bump and Grind.
Don't remember it.
I bet the listeners do and viewers, and they know exactly what I'm talking about. It's one. Hey, John, tonight when we get done, let me ask you this. Is your wife still awake?
I don't know.
Well, when we get done here, and we'll wrap it up quickly so that you can go and get on your YouTube on your mobile device and put in R. Kelly's This is what it looks like. R. Kelly's Bump and Grind, and just start playing that Walk Up to Your Wife Slowly. Because it starts, my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Think about that. You go to Miss Coronation. And by the way, I apologize to everybody for that. That's right. God bless you, Fred. Fred said former head coach pushed for Bump and Grind for 5 years. But that was number 11. Ace of Base had 3 songs in the top 10 in the year 1994. 3 of them. I just want you to know that none of them would work, I don't think, for our purposes. But the top 10 includes, groups like All for One, Boys to Men, Tony Braxton, Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart and Sting, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey. You really have to go down quite a bit. It's very pop heavy, which is not what I want when I'm going to a sporting event, because pop's not going to pump me up. And this is a bit of a cop out, but if you jump all the way down to number 42, and we can't play this because we're streaming live on YouTube and they'll kick us off. But you remember Tag Team is on Jock Jams. Tag Teams, whoop, there it is.
Yes.
That's number 40. That would be an option. I remember singing that when I was a 12-year-old. Just make you feel old, John. More R. Kelly.
How about 38?
What's number 38?
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. By Meatloaf.
Again, that's probably where Fred Sack is going to jump and be like, yep, same there with a former.
Or 50.
All right. Are you looking at?
I looked it up.
So you're looking at Wikipedia too?
Loser by Beck.
Yeah, that'd be a good one for after the game.
You could be pointing at them.
Yeah.
When they come on the field.
Have you ever heard the song? Are you familiar with it?
Loser?
Yeah.
I'm a Beck guy.
Okay. Well, it says I'm a loser. So I feel like if Nebraska was playing that, then they'd be talking about themselves.
It's sarcasm.
Okay. I'm sorry. Fred says, my God, it's June. Greg just theoretically sang.
Oh, wow. I didn't know Jimmy Cliff's I Can See Clearly Now is from 1994. I thought that was a long time ago.
Might have been a remaster. It's entirely possible that I have the right list, but it's probably not the right list for this conversation. Mostly, like number 77, Mary Jane's Last Dance. That's not really going to get anybody pumped up for football, I don't think.
No.
Let's see.
What is love?
Josh says it's got to have red in the title. The obvious answer is red wine. Speaking of red wine 65 says When I Come Around. Yeah, and I do apologize for the singing, everybody. I'm sorry. Josh says the only rock band left is Foo Fighters. I'd be okay with some Foo Fighters. And Foo Fighters has been around long enough. They're back in the 90s. I don't know if Foo Fighters would be post 1994, but I guess that's the beauty of it. You don't have to necessarily pull a song from 1994. Nebraska didn't in 94. I just think, look, they changed up the song and they won a national championship. They won the national championship that year.
They did. That's true.
So
you want to just you think it's going to just like peel off on them, or do you?
I think what we need is a little change. My hope is to look for all the years I've been podcasting for Nebraska football, or Nebraska athletics, I should say, not just football. And it's been a lot. It's been a lot of years that I've been podcasting. And thank you, everybody who've been around from the beginning. And I just think it's time for something fresh, something to maybe scare the blue hairs a little bit. And look, are we ever going to get everybody up and jumping like Wisconsin? No. Or like Virginia Tech? No. But let's do something that's a little bit more than
what? People know what to expect.
I don't care. All right, so there's an vamp for a minute while I pull this quote because I want to get the person who said this quote correct.
Okay. Maybe we could have songs that people could all sing together.
Rear Admiral Grace Murray Hopper.
Yes.
Says the most damaging phrase or dangerous phrase in the English language is we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
In 30 years, maybe not be always, but it's long enough that it's ingrained in people's minds. It's what a generation or two has only ever known. It's okay to strike out and do something different. So when Nebraska finally has a home game against, a team they're going to pay a lot of money to come and hopefully get a W, I want to hear something different. I want to experience something different.
Okay. I had a thought there and then it went away.
Well, find it.
Well, I was thinking, if you had a song that everybody could sing together, that would be like a classic,
Like what? What song?
Well, along the themes of like, pay me my money down. Pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. There's more there. Obviously that's the chorus, but something a lot that had a chorus. You know what I mean?
I just want.
Oh my God. Cornhusker Corner goes Delta Dawn by Tanya Taylor.
It says the ones that Bill Bush sing along recommendation. John Schmidt says, do we have headphones? I do. It's okay. Josh says, I like that home on the range. Josh says, all we have left are like 3 traditions and a fan base that sells out. Keep serious. Maybe my hair's turning blue. I like this. Fred with a rotating song or specifically making it game specific. Like you play the same song when Iowa's in town or Minnesota's in town. There's got to be a song about shit kicking Iowa.
We could write one. Shit kicking Iowa.
We could maybe get the Killigans to perform.
No, we could just write one ourselves.
Here we go, Jason. Look, I'm highlighting this before I'm reading it, but it was long, so I figured it's a good comment. I hope I don't pay the price. Jason Reiner says, guys, hands down, the music from the song Orgasmatron from Motorhead. No lyrics or chorus. No lyrics, of course, I'm sorry. But the music is kick-ass, period, point blank. Listen to it and give me your thoughts.
Well, okay, we'll do that for next week.
Put it on your tick.
Yeah, okay. Put it on the tick.
Orgasmatron.
Listen to I know Ace of Spades or Orgasmatron.
Orgasmatron. Motorhead.
By who? Motorhead. I was thinking Metallica. Motorhead. Lenny.
Now look, I completely understand that probably most of the fan base are not what would be considered metalheads. Or, but and society has definitely shifted in like a pop, hip hop, R&B type of direction. But look, I don't that doesn't get me pumped and moving. And don't come out with a country song. You save that for a volleyball day in Nebraska.
Okay.
Oh, Jason, I think maybe Jason's just a Motorhead himself. Born to Raise Hell is another option. Fred says, hey, with 3 top 10 songs, in the charts in 1994, maybe Ace of Base in Ace of Base. Oh, Ace. Oh, God dang it. I completely read that back. I'd go with Ace of Spades for an overall interest. I completely read that wrong. John, you want to answer this question?
What? Is this Corncast?
Billy has ideas, says, is this Corncast?
This is the Five Heart podcast from Corn Nation. This is a guy on Twitch. This is the first comment we've ever had from Twitch. Anybody noticing us on Twitch ever?
I mean, I put us on Twitch tonight. Is that all right? Was I not supposed to do that?
No, it's okay.
Twitch is the one where they have to send you money, right? Like OnlyFans?
They don't have to. But
Okay.
normally people do make money streaming on Twitch.
Billy has ideas. You missed it. John did change his shirt earlier in the show. So go back, watch the replay, and then like Venmo him $1.
You guys need to hit like on Facebook and YouTube if you're on either of those platforms.
John Schmidt says Judas Priest Painkiller. Josh says God's Gonna Cut You Down by Johnny Cash is country and would kick ass. Stop genre bashing. Shut up, Josh. I can say that. And then Fred yelled at me some more. I mean, in his own polite way. So.
Okay.
And then Fred says, I imagine John kicking I-coursed into the void screaming, this is Cobcast, but it's not. Fred, this is the Five Heart podcast. The Cobcast doesn't exist anymore, no matter how much we would like it to.
I am surprised that nobody has mentioned Ramstein. Yeah. You could all yell stuff in German. That's probably, I don't know if that's a good idea. Anyway.
Did you see the, was it Off Tackle Empire was pointing out things about our new Herbie? And they said they went back to blonde hair and blue eyes because they're mostly German immigrant settled. And I was like, Rammstein would kind of be perfect then.
Oh my God, my thought went away again.
I don't know, but Billy has ideas contributing from Twitch. I met Rammstein last night.
Duhas mesh. There you go, Fred. Okay.
Wait. We got another Twitcher. Germs Gaming 478 says, holy crap, it's Luke Combs, which I'm guessing is probably a reference to you.
I don't know who Luke Combs is.
I'm sure it's a country singer.
Okay.
Let's find out. I really have no idea.
I can't believe 44 of you people or 50 of you people are still here. This is June. It is just, oh my God.
Oh, wait. Yeah, he's definitely talking about you. You definitely look like Luke Combs. You have the beard. The beard, yeah.
Okay.
So this has been a lot of fun. We had so much interaction tonight, John.
Yeah, that is true.
So think about it. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I don't know. It's like thoughts appear like butterflies. You don't know, so he chases them away. Okay.
I think we don't have a consensus on the new Tunnel Walk song.
No. That's why it's difficult. I think it's really difficult to pick songs that, everybody can agree. And the other problem is today, everybody is offended by something somewhere, and you can't even figure out what they're going to be offended by ahead of time. So you pick a song, and all of a sudden somebody goes, that person did this back in 1943, and that was terrible. And then everybody goes.
We may have to go back to your idea and just open up the bank account, write the check to Disney, and get the Imperial March from the Star Wars soundtrack. That might be the only thing that everybody recognizes, crosses all demographics. You may be onto something.
Well, it is. It's really hard.
We gotta go. TFT's
we played
over here suggesting Nickelback, for God's sakes.
We played, my mom and I told the story, I think last week or something like that, a couple weeks ago, about my mom and I my mom was a DJ when I was young, and we played wedding dances, and we always started out the night with 50s music, because that was older people music, and we needed like grandparents and stuff like that. We'd get up and at least do a waltz or something, or do a dance, or they'd like to hear something from the 50s. So we started with 50s music, and everybody likes it. Anymore, you probably don't hear it enough. So nobody knows 50s music, like, Elvis Presley type stuff. But it is very, very hard to pick music that is cross generations. So I mean, we could do Walk the Moon's Shut Up and Dance and just change it to Shut Up and Kick Ass. Huh? How about that? Just change the words.
Yeah. I like it. All right. John, I've highlighted a few comments from earlier. God. What I miss?
What? There's more?
I'm telling you, it's been a great night.
Okay.
The Chatterfields have been off the hook, as the kids say these days. But none of this is related to our current topic, so I did kind of just postpone it till the end. We're talking about the schedule and potential, records with me. So Tony from YouTube says Nebraska needs to beat Colorado. I think we'll all agree.
Oh my God, they do. Yeah.
To that one. Red Wine 65 says, I'm okay with better matchups if we have a good coach. In the Big Ten, we played OSU 8 times compared to Indiana 2 times. That was not fun. And there's been much, said about.
That's because everybody wants to see Nebraska play. Everybody wants to see good Nebraska play Ohio State because people all over the place will comment. We get YouTube comments on that they want Nebraska to be good at football because, it makes them feel like college football is good because we're goodness. We're just goodness, like personified or something, whatever word fits there. But, we played Ohio State because people were expecting good games, and we need to fulfill our part of the bargain from now on.
Remember that one
job.
Remember that one that Joe Bauserman threw like 10 balls into the stands? That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
By the way, Josh gave me crap saying anyone who says off the hook instead of things like no cap is too old to pick updated music. I don't know what no cap is. All I know is that I'm not wearing a cap. No cap defines my headwear situation presently. So shut up, Josh. Fred says 8-4 probably okay with new conference dynamic, but it's like the old Big 12. If we get the right rotation, we can crush it. If it's softer than the previous Murderers Row schedule. So, no, I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. Let's see the new one. I don't know any of the. Slipknot. The problem with Slipknot is they're from Iowa.
They are?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I would have a hard time putting Slipknot in Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. It would feel dirty. I don't realistically, I listened to Slipknot 20 years ago, when they were cool or when I was cool or one of the combination of the two. I don't really want any. No, I'll leave that one alone. Never mind. All right. I think this was a legit TFT coming in, making up for that Slipknot thing. Terrell Farley's taint, Daniel Kalin, if I'm pronouncing that right, in Elite 11 Pro Day, 15 of 20 passes. Elite 11 staff scored him a 43 out of 50 available points. Current standings are the Hammond kid, who's a Texas Tech commit, with 45 points, and Kalin, the Nebraska commit, with 43 points. So
that's an excellent Elite 11 Pro Day.
Yep.
I don't know how many people know this song, but I Still Believe by The Call. Okay, yeah.
All right, I'm officially leaning one of two directions. Imperial March or Foo Fighters. And I'll have...
Imperial March like Star Wars?
Yep.
Is that what you mean?
That was your idea, John. It was that
okay,
good.
Well,
And God, see, again, there's so much love to spread around. It's really being spread on Terrell Farley's taint. The love is really being spread on Terrell Farley's taint tonight, where Cornhusker Corner says, thank you, Terrell Farley's taint. What an informative taint. Josh says he wants a hip-hop remix of you, John, saying there is no hope, fuck everything. Which probably could be done if I knew how to auto-tune anything.
Yeah, if we knew how to do that thing.
If we knew how to do that. And Fred, that's my homework for the next week, is to come up with the right song. Look, it could be My Hero, but I feel like that's been done. And I want to step out and maybe find something different. Don't get me wrong, I love My Hero, but I think Varsity Blues did sort of really put that song in a box. So I'll find something else. Might some say Big Bray Taint? I don't know, TFT. All I know is that we're closing in on 90 minutes of this nonsense for the middle of June, and John's getting a little slap happy, and I'm out of beer in this particular can. So maybe
I have to meet an air conditioner guy at 8 a.m.
No, what you need to do. All right, John, do you have your mobile
What?
device handy?
Yes.
Open up the YouTube.
Open up the YouTube.
Type in R. Kelly Bump and Grind. Don't play it yet. As soon as we're done, go find.
Look what's on there.
Is that you?
No, it's the.
Oh, it's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. R. Kelly.
Bump and Grind.
Yeah.
And go find Mrs. Coronation, and just report back next week on the happenings. Not graphic detail, if you know what I mean, but just be like, did it work?
No, she's exhausted.
Yeah, that's what my wife says.
John Schmidt says, I can't even find you on Twitch. I don't know how Twitch works. I think I set it up as a destination a long time ago, and it's just still in here. I do know that Twitch, like in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think, changed their policies for how streamers make money, and their platform is just going to die because you can't cut off your content for creators from making money and expect your platform to live. So
I'm getting yelled at by Terrell Farley's Taint to highlight "Let's Go Girls" as the new Tunnel Walk song.
Okay, "Let's Go Girls" by Cyndi Lauper.
Shania Twain. Not Shania Twain, it's Shania, but that's all right. We'll let it go. All right. Fred.
Jesus.
All right. We have had just a lot of fun. Cornhusker Corner says, good luck. R. Kelly's no joke. That shit works. So.
Wait, I didn't even bring up anything by Blackpink.
Okay. Well, it looks like you have homework for next week too, John.
Yeah, I like Blackpink.
Okay.
All
right. And gosh, Josh is over here, a country female artist shaming us because he says the song is "Man, I Feel Like a Woman." So, I don't think that this is necessarily the song for the Tunnel Walk, but hey, if it won a popular vote, crazier things have happened.
Okay.
John, is it go home time?
Yeah, it's yes.
That's what TFT is saying. And by the way, in talking with Tweety, Terrell Farley's Taint, he says that Fatty Rise the Bus is not the appropriate outing out for this show. Is that send off or sign off died with the Copcast. I just wanted you to know. You didn't hear it. I mean, you heard it from me, but it's not my message. All right, moving on. Thank you all, everybody, so much for a really fun episode of the Five Heart Podcast. We've laughed a lot, and we've shared some really bad ideas and a couple of good ones too. So, John, you're going to remember Blackpink for next week. Put it in your tick. And I am going to try to find the perfect Foo Fighters song that could be the new Tunnel Walk. That's not overdone, if you will, or again in the box. So for all of you who have joined us tonight live, God, we appreciate you. We know there's a lot of entertainment options you have. You could have gone to an early showing of The Flash in a movie theater near you, and yet you decided to spend it with us. We're cheaper. Hopefully we're as entertaining. But for the founder and fearless leader of Corn Nation, he is the seed that got us all to the game.
Okay.
John Dam Johnston. For him, for myself, Greg Mahochko, thank you all for joining us live or the less fun after the show version, which is, the audio that drops on Friday. We appreciate you greatly. We'll see you next week here on the Five Heart Podcast, where we remind each and every week that Five Heart is all the heart you need. John?
Go Big Red.
And with that, look, we both sang for you all tonight. I want you to think about that. We both sang for you. It doesn't get any better than that.